all had a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Porch Light Letter podcast number 2340. How much time does AI really save? Well, before we get on to that topic, let me tell you about my day. I started off with a really great day. I had my weekly business meeting with my business partner, and she showed me this really cool thing in ChatGPT, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. It was really cool to go back, and it's basically a year in review. After that, it was church. Then after church, we came home, had lunch, and I got my first pie. I haven't had pie in a long time. Now, pies in New Zealand, yes, you can get the big family size pies, but I'm talking individual pies that you can hold in your hand and eat. It doesn't come in a dish. It's pastry on the bottom, pastry on the top, or potato top. You got your filling in there, and you can hold it in your hands while you eat it. And I got to have a steak pie today. It was so good. Oh my gosh, can't wait to have another one. And then we just got back from going for a walk along the beach here in Paraparaumu. We drove down there and went for a walk along the beach. It was very busy down there today. There were a lot of people out on jet skis, boats, and that there was cars lined up with their trailers all attached just along the beach there. There were tractors that go and pull you out of the water as well, or get your trailer and go and pull it out of the water for you. It was just very, very busy down there. It was actually quite a good place for people. It was actually quite a good thing as we're walking along, people watching the people out on the water and that sort of stuff. It was pretty cool. So what I wanted to show you, let's see, I've got to share screen. And I need to go to this one. Okay, excuse me. So let me make sure that you guys can see that. Yes, perfect. All right, now to go back over here. It was this one. Okay, so on your site, and this can only be done on the online version. If you have the app, you have to go online to do this, but you're looking for this here, your year with ChatGPT. It's 2025, and it says get started. So let's go see. Now it's going to start you. This has been generated just for you, but for me, based on my usage. So let's begin. Comes up with your year in poetry. Through every new porch light you've lit, your spark turned each challenge to wit. From journals to vaults you designed, a legacy boldly aligned. Your compass stays true where dreams sit. I like that. I thought that was really cool. Then it takes us over to my three biggest themes of 2025. One was rediscovering home and heritage, consistency as creative compass, and building digital foundations. And it just gives you a brief description of each one. Now, this is your chat stats. And what this is, I created with ChatGPT, I created 422 images this year. I have a total of 409 chats. That's just the chat thread. I'm in the first 3% of users, which was pretty, actually, Teza was in the first 0.1% of users. It's like, wow. Over 11,000 times I told it to get rid of EM dashes. We had a thing with that. My chattiest day with it was September 29th. I have to go back and see what we talked about that day because I have no recollection of that. I'm in the top 1% of messages sent, and I'm sent 10.8 thousand messages. Now, the messages are tied to the chats. So when you're in the chat and you're having that conversation backwards and forwards, I had 10.8 thousand of them over 409 chats. Pretty wild, huh? That was pretty cool. I don't think I told it that many times to do EMJet, but whatever. It says I did, so I did. It counted. I didn't. These were my chat style: warm, curious, and conversational with a creative spark, often blending professionalism, playfulness, and genuine enthusiasm across diverse and evolving projects. So I'd say good morning, yes, please, as usually when I told it to do something. It's always told it to add the sparkle. Crickets. I'd come back and I'd just go crickets. And it was, yeah. The well is dry. That one, I can tell you, it was a conversation I had with it in April where I spent 7 hours brainstorming an idea with ChatGPT. And in the end, my brain was fried. And I just went, and it asked me a question. And my reply to the question was, the well is dry. And then my next chat was, the brain is not functioning right now. It needs some rest. I got to go to bed. So I did. This is an award it gave me. If 2025 gave out awards, you'd get the most likely to turn life into a limited series. For transforming every errand, butterfly sighting, and business brainstorm into a binge-worthy saga with sequels, spin-offs, and stunning Canva visuals. Yeah, like I said, having that brainstorming session with ChatGPT, when we were talking about yesterday about having, how much, what tools you still need that creativity and that inspiration, and you get that from some of the conversations you have. So we had a lot of spin-offs and sequels, trust me. There is one chat that I have. I'm now onto the fourth thread of that chat. So I've got I started it and I got to the end of that and it told me, I'm sorry, you can't do any more messaging on this one because you've reached your limit. I was like, oh, we have a limit. And I have the paid version. So then I started chat 2, chat 3. I'm on to chat 4 now with it on that one particular topic. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. My archetype is the navigator, and 22.9% of users share this archetype. In fact, the navigator is really funny. We were going on, there was back in April, we're having a conversation and we're trying to find a name for the thing, and it came up with the navigator at one point, and that took me back to that 1980s film called The Navigator, and we were quoting lines backwards and forwards. And so for a while I was driving the conversation in the direction I needed it to go. Then I needed to go and do something, but I didn't know how to do it. And so I'd asked ChatGPT, how do I do this? He goes, oh, good, I get in the navigator's seat now. So I said, well, navigate already, which if you know the movie, it's from that movie. And so we're switching lines from the movie. We've also done it with James Bond as well. The navigator quickly orientates in new areas and charts new steps. It uses ChatGPT to decide what to do next without overanalyzing. So my hot topics were explorer, planner, and practical. And these were some of the other ones that I did. This is just really cool. Lifestyle with journal and sparkle mug. That was a ChatGPT we had. A cozy desk tableau. A teal sapphire journal, glittering mug, pixie butterfly, vintage mic, and compass keychain. Symbols of reflection, storytelling, and everyday wonder. That image basically sums up my entire year with ChatGPT. You've got the porch light there where we started doing porch light newsletters back in April. We talked about journaling a lot. The navigator, the compass there was for our navigation, which direction were we going? And then the microphone for the podcast. It was just, and the butterfly, of course, is my grandfather, keeping his watch out over us. But it was just such an amazing year. And you've got what does 2026? So we've got to wipe away the mystery. A quiet porch moment will reveal your next bold idea. I'm moving into a house that has a front porch and a back porch. So let's see what bold idea comes from that when we get there. 3 sleeps until I get my keys. And then this is like, thanks for chatting with us. And then where should we go next? So it's given some ideas for that. So that's just something from ChatGPT that came up with, which I thought was really cool to go through. So now we can get onto the main part of the chat of this conversation about how much time does AI really save. Now, yesterday we challenged you to not focus on speed alone, but invest in thinking behind your content and the thinking behind your content. And so how did that go for you? Let us know in the comments how that went for you. Would love the feedback. All right, AI saves time, but only when paired with systems. If you don't have a system, AI is not going to save you time because it helps you with the repetitive steps. So when you're planning and drafting becomes faster. If you're setting up a system or a process, it can help you get there a lot faster because you say, this is where I'm starting from. Sorry, this is where I'm starting from. This is where I need to go. These are some of the steps in between that I have to do. And it can help you with planning and drafting the idea, the concept, the process to help you get there faster. Decision fatigue is reduced. When I get on a brainstorming session with ChatGPT, it goes very fast. It is super, super fast. And there's times when I'm like, one focus is to get this thing done, but it keeps popping ideas that inspire other things. So I ask it to put on the shelf for later. Then after I've exhausted every